Erin Householder? You can come in, have a seat. Can I get you any water or coffee?
No, thank you. I don't want to be here that long.
So, did you find the place okay?
I did. I have a GPS, very handy.
Yeah,
So,
those are really useful.
yes.
Well, my name is Quinn Foster. I'm the social worker here at the Counseling Center. And I have you in my paperwork as Erin Householder. What would you prefer to be called?
Erin is fine.
Erin, okay. So we only have 20 minutes today, and in our time, the purpose of the meeting is just for me to get to know you a little bit better, and your role in that is just to be as open and honest as you can. We do have a confidentiality policy here at the center, and that is that anything you say in this room will be kept confidential unless I feel like you're posing a threat to yourself or somebody else.
Okay.
Okay, so tell me what brought you in today.
My wife brought me in today. At least she told me I had to come. So this was something that she required, I suppose is the word. She nagged me into, she manipulated, I don't know, pick a word. This was her idea, so that's why I'm here. I don't want to be here, no offense.
Yeah. Your wife asked you to come in today?
That's a generous way to put it. She, yes, she asked, but it was one of those questions where there's only one answer possible. And I've seen that before. This is how it works, where we do this every once in a while, where she just decides that we need to fix something, and it's usually me. And then she asks, like, do you want to go on this couples retreat? Do you want to talk to the pastor at church? Do you want to go to counseling? And I can't really say no, because then she's just going to be unbearable for as long as until I say yes. So I figured I'd take the shortcut this time and just get it over with. So here we are.
Mm-hmm. So you've previously gone to counseling with your wife?
Sort of. She calls it counseling. It's and you've probably heard of these things, the little couples retreats where you go off for a weekend and some leader is trying to work you through these horribly awkward communication exercises, and then we go sit in a cabin in the woods and talk about our feelings and sing Kumbaya or whatever, and we're supposed to, that's, I guess, makes it better, makes whatever better. So we've done that 3 or 4 times, I don't know. She's had friends who swear by those things, and so we've done one in the woods, and we did one at a beach resort, and I guess changing the atmospheres, I don't know, whatever. So we've done that. We haven't done counseling, what I would think of as counseling, like this, or even marriage counseling with a pastor or anything. We've done that only informally.
Okay.
So.
So you and your wife have kind of had this problem before.
Yeah. We've been married 15 years now, and yeah, it just happens every so often where we have one of these things where, and I don't see it coming. She decides that we're having a problem, so here we are.
You're having a problem?
That's what she seems to think. I don't know what the problem is. I think we're fine. We're busy people. We work, both of us. We don't have children, so we work a lot of hours, and then we come home, and it's peaceful at night. It's not like we're screaming. We're not fighting. We're not throwing things at each other. I'm watching a baseball game, and she's watching some horrible movie, and we go to sleep and get up and do it again. But I like it. It works for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's peaceful. But she has decided that that's not good enough, and so here I am.
Mm-hmm. So you and your wife are very busy during the day.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you just kind of come home and you both do your own thing.
Yeah.
Tell me about stuff that you and your wife do together.
Well, we at night during the week, because I work however many hours, I don't even know. It depends. I'm salaried. I work in insurance. So I work, 60 hours, 70 hours, whatever, during the week. And I try not to work on the weekends, but occasionally I do on Saturdays. And she works. She's an accountant, and she's salaried, and she works as long as she works. So at night, we come home and we'll grab some dinner sometimes, usually in the house, sometimes together, sometimes not, depending on our schedules. I'll watch baseball at night. I just want to kind of unwind. I'm meeting people all day. I don't want to come home and have a big, deep 3-hour conversation about feelings and theology and everything else. I don't want to, and so I watch some TV and just kind of just some downtime. And she, on certain days, she has that too, where she'll go watch a movie in the bedroom, and she obviously needs some downtime, and I'm perfectly happy to let her have that. Together, on the weekends, we'll go to the store, we'll, do house things.
Mm-hmm.
We've painted some of the rooms here recently just to change things up. We go out to dinner. There are a couple places we like to go. We don't go that often because I want it to be special when we do. We used to travel when we were younger quite a lot. We don't do that as much anymore. She used to really get excited when we go on a trip. But it's everyday life. I don't know people who have jobs where you can just say, "Oh, I'm going to go travel for 4 weeks or whatever."
Right.
We don't do that. We don't do that.
Yeah, jobs are very busy. I understand that.
They are.
Yeah.
That's good. I want a job. I need to have a job. She needs to have a job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that has to be a bad thing. But,
A bad thing.
well, yeah, that's what she talks about. Is you're working all the time. You're busy all the time. You're tired all the time. I'm supposed to work.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that bad? I don't understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you and your wife kind of have this discussion about you being very busy.
Yeah. Discussion is a nice way to put it. she tells me about it, that I'm not discussing anything. She's like, "You're always tired. Why are you falling asleep watching this movie?" And I'm like, "Well, because the movie sucks. That's why I'm not falling asleep." But I'm too busy. And I, as she has put it several times, I give all of my energy to my clients, and I don't have any left for my wife. And I think that's unfair. But my clients don't nag me to pieces, and they don't yell at me when I don't take out the trash promptly or whatever. And they're more pleasant to be around sometimes.
And those comments are hurtful when she's making comments about how you're responding to the marriage.
Yeah, she's telling me I'm not good at this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good at being a husband. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's right. I don't think you can just stand outside the marriage when you're in it. I don't think you can stand outside it and look and say, "Oh, you're doing it wrong." It takes two. She's not. My clients are nicer to me than she is. I don't know why. Why shouldn't I spend more time with them? So yeah, it's hurtful. It makes me feel like she thinks I'm bad at this, and I don't want to be bad at this.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of clients come in here and they have the same kind of perspective. Like, it's hard for them to communicate about these things when you're in it. You're in the marriage. So we talked a little bit about kind of what's happening, and this keeps occurring in your marriage. And you mentioned that you've gone on these couples retreats.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about how your wife responds to those.
Well, she's just so thrilled to go on those, and I don't know, it's so irritating, because we'll get there and we're in some cabin or whatever, and it just feels like it's an excuse for us to get away from work, which is fine. I don't mind that. And then for her to tell me what I'm doing wrong or what I'm not doing. And so we get there, and it's so exciting, and you do these, stupid icebreaker things, like I said, and then we come to this like we're supposed to. It's programmed so you have this like epiphany, like, ta-da, there it is, now everything's better. And she's like, "Honey, isn't that great?" And you just feel her metaphorically just like, "See, we're great now, aren't we?" And I just want to go home. I don't understand what we're doing here. But then we go home, and then she's just sort of singing and being all positive in the house, and everything's and to be fair, after those things, everything's actually pretty good for a while, because she has a sunnier outlook on things, and so when I do something that she finds irritating, it's just sort of charming for a while because she's in that frame of mind. So I am willing to go on those things occasionally, because even though it's just torture. Some cheesy guy at the front with his little stupid rah-rah exercises, and then we're all like, oh gosh, I love my wife. But it seems for her to work, so whatever, if it just keeps her off my back for a little while. And I will again admit, part of those exercises, we're supposed to, most of them, it's this kind of cliche, but you stare into each other's eyes for a while, and then you say, I think you're pretty, and I think you're whatever, and I like how you do this thing, and so there is that time, and I know that that means something to her, even if it's part of an exercise. So that helps for what it's worth.
So there's those times where you can kind of encourage each other.
Yeah.
At those. Tell me about what that looks like in your marriage on a day-to-day basis.
Well, like I said, we've been married for 15 years, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't do that stuff every day. I don't tell her she's pretty every day. Does it mean anything? If every day, I could put it on my calendar. I could just say, at 7:45 every morning, I will say, honey, you're pretty. I don't think that would work. I told her that when we were first married. I told her that, because she's a gorgeous woman. And I wanted her to know that. And now she should know that. I've said it many, many times. Does it mean anything? It's like going to that restaurant over and over and over. Is it special anymore? I don't know. I don't want to ruin it. I don't want to. So I don't say those things explicitly. I just kind of think that she should know that I think that. I don't want people repeating stuff to me all the time. I feel like a child. I don't do that. So I think she's pretty. And I think that's why she likes those little retreats, because then I'm forced to say, I like the way you cook, and I think you're pretty, and I think you're intelligent, and I love the way you get really fired up about your job. And I can say those things, and but I don't. I confess, I don't do that a lot at home. But should I? Do I need to? Why? That's.
Yeah, and for me, I think it would be really encouraging to hear things like that. After a while, like even just after a hard day or a long day of work, coming home and hearing something along those lines, I don't think that necessarily it would help me to every time hear, oh, you're pretty.
Yeah.
Because I see where you're coming from in that, and that can start to sound repetitive.
Right.
So you mentioned that, or we've talked a little bit about how you encourage her and how you try to encourage her in those. Tell me about how she encourages you.
Well, in those retreats, she says all the same things, that I say back to her. And I like how you look, and I like how you whatever. I don't feel a lot of encouragement at home either. She's complaining about, you watch too much baseball, or why when you get home do you just sit there, or why do you fall asleep during our movie, which I didn't pick the movie. We have different tastes in things. We have different styles of things. She never once says, I like how you take care of the house. It's just, have you done this thing yet? Or did you remember that this needs done? Not, thank you for doing that. She just assumes. And it's, at some level, isn't that good? She just assumes if there's something that needs done, I'm going to do it. But it would be okay occasionally to say, I appreciate you doing that. I like how I take that for granted. I like how, I just kind of know that those things are going to get taken care of. That wouldn't hurt. And she's not under any danger of being repetitive with that stuff, because she never says it. So she could say it. She could say it. She used to say things. She used to compliment my appearance, my eyes. She thought I had pretty eyes. That's why she fell in love with me, she said, whatever. I don't even know if that's probably something that she read somewhere that you're supposed to say in one of those horrible movies that she watches. But she said it, and I liked it, and it felt good, and, we just don't, when we talk, we don't talk about that stuff anymore. We talk about other things.
Yeah, and that's hard if you feel like you don't really talk about those positive things in the marriage anymore.
Yeah, we don't. But also, we're talking about real things, like, what needs to be done? When is this due? When are these bills due? Or when is, what's your schedule like next week? Or I'm going to have to work extra. I've got this conference to go to. I mean, we're talking about things, real things. And maybe when you're, 24, you don't talk about those things because you don't have that stuff. We have that stuff now. It's okay to talk. I don't think that's bad. And I don't want to seem insincere when I say, honey, next week I've got this conference, Friday, Saturday, and the week after that I've got a conference, but it's only one day on Thursday, and by the way, you're pretty. I don't do that. That doesn't... Is that what she wants? I don't think that's what... I don't know.
So you guys are really busy. You talk a lot about your schedules, and we've talked a little bit about the encouragement and discouragement in your marriage. And earlier you mentioned that you've gone to these retreats and stuff. Tell me about what your wife thinks about coming into counseling.
Like if she were to come in to this? This is the first time that she's been interested in an individual counselor, and the first time that she's sent me somewhere. So I kind of think that she would be really excited about this if she were here, because she would see that. I think this is if you want my honest opinion, she seems to be over the course of the last few years amping up a little bit. We have a problem, we have a serious problem, and it's your fault. And so this to me today feels like she's saying, it's me, I need fixed. So I think she would love to come here and sit here with me so that you two could talk about what's wrong with me. I think she would love that. I think she would relish the opportunity. Because the last couple of retreats that we've been on, it's starting to feel like that. And she'll raise her hand at the little group sessions and say, when a husband does this kind of thing, what should we all say to our husband? I'm like, no, wait a second, stop, that's not fair. But that's where she's at. So I think that she would love coming in here. I think she'd be highly disappointed if it turned out not to be a gang up on me session. That's just my opinion.
And that's hurtful to have to think that way.
It is. Because it's my fault, apparently. And I don't, maybe you've never been in a situation where you feel like you're around somebody who's thinking negative thoughts about you. I've worked very hard at my job to go in and earn respect so that people think I'm good at what I do, and now I go home and I feel like she thinks I'm bad at what I do at home. And this meeting today emphasizes that. She seems to say, you need to go get fixed. So.
And no one wants to feel that way.
No, I don't. I certainly don't.
Yeah, that's completely understandable. That sounds like it would be very discouraging to feel like it's all your fault.
Yeah. Well, she wonders why I stay so late at the office.
So we only have a couple more minutes, but we've talked about just kind of like you and your wife's marriage, what it looks like, a little bit about how you guys have a really busy schedule, and we talked a little bit about what she would think about coming in. I recognize the kind of fear in that of the way that you think that would go.
Yeah.
I want you to know that our purpose at the Counseling Center is just to kind of guide conversation. And so there would not be a point of where it would be me and your wife going back and forth. It would just be very guided conversation between you and your wife.
She might be disappointed by that. She may not want to come back.
Yeah, and maybe that's something that we could talk about a little bit more in the next meeting. Next week we could talk more about what that might look like, or kind of try to find more ways to really guide that conversation.
Yeah, that might be useful. I mean, if we're going to do this. But I don't want her here right now, if that's what, And I like what you say. I think I know that you believe that it would not become a tag team thing. And maybe I'm being unfair, but I'd like to talk about that before
Yeah.
she comes in.
No, yeah, that's understandable, and we can definitely make that happen in the next meeting where it can just be you and I.
Okay.
But thank you so much for coming in and sharing with me,
Mm-hmm.
and just really opening up about your marriage.
Thank you for being quick about it.
Yeah,
I
sure.
have another meeting to go to, so
Definitely. So,
good.
well, I'll show you the way out.
Thank you.
There's a lot of fog out there today.
It is very English.